And all of a sudden I heard was, he's got a knife. And that's when me and two other Marines pretty much just started swinging away. I thought I was the golden child of the battalion at the time. Like I was untouchable, unstoppable. All it took was just one wrong move. You don't want to be like me. I've been there, I've done it. There's no glory in killing, blowing stuff up. The moment you stop taking care of Marines is the moment you need to hang it up as a leader. I have a very, very soft spot for Marines and family, right? Because you should put your family first. Make sure you take care of your family and take care of yourself, take care of your command. And if you can balance all of those things, you will be a successful Marine.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Carry On podcast. I'm your host, Abdel, and today my guest is a leader that have a very positive impact on a lot of Marines, including myself. He's gonna talk to us about some of his stories, and he's gonna share leadership advice. My guest today is Master Gunnery Sergeant Ay Yommalat. Master Guns, thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks for having me. Couldn't be anywhere else. Appreciate you having me, so let's get it.
Let's get it, Master Guns. All right, Master Guns, so I want you to tell the audience and tell me, where did you grow up at? What influenced you to join the Marine Corps? Just start from the very beginning. Tell us your story.
All right, so I was actually born in Thailand in 1985, and my family and I thought about, obviously, seeking refuge to America. So we went to the refugee camp in Thailand there. So in 1990, my family immigrated from Thailand to California. And we had a lot of family that, start off in the same refugee camp, but we just went in all direction, i.e. to the East Coast, West Coast. You have family in Seattle, Massachusetts, but California was the main hub for my family, my immediate family. So growing up in California in the 90s, it was rough. We had a lot of people who got into gangs, who got into drugs, who didn't do too well when it came to education. So a lot of, my seniors, i.e. my elder cousins, they just joined the gang and, they got into a lot of gang violence. Some of them ended up in jail. Some of them ended up dead. I happened to be one of the lucky ones who, stuck to a narrow path, and I ended up just going to school, going to church, and stuck with my church group. And, from there, I eventually graduated high school, and after high school, I did construction. But before even graduating high school, I did landscaping with my uncle. I did painting. I did sheetrock or drywall. And when I graduated high school, I landed a job with my church. I ended up just doing construction for the first year after high school. And then eventually I ended up joining the Marine Corps. How I got to that point, it was very interesting because the recruiter actually approached me when I was just standing outside, just contemplating what I wanted to do. And
Perfect candidate.
I didn't know what to do. Yeah. So the recruiter just told me, hey, what are you looking for? I was like, well, I actually want to join the Air Force. So the Air Force was not in it for me, obviously, because the Marine recruiter found me first. So ended up talking to the recruiter April of 2004, signed some documents, did my initial strength tests, and then May of 2004, that following month, I went to boot camp.
All right. So, you just, whenever you decided to join the Marine Corps, did you kind of had an MOS picked up, a job, a career field that you wanted to be in, or the recruiter kind of did that for you?
The recruiter kind of did that for me. I really had no choice. I don't think my score was high enough at the time too. So I initially signed open contract. Right before I ship out to boot camp, they gave me MOS 0111 or 01XX before I went to boot camp.
And then you once you got that MOS, how was that? Like you knowing that you're gonna become an admin in the Marine Corps, did you think of it like it's gonna be your career for the rest of the whole time in the Marine Corps, or like you wanted to change that?
At that point, I had no idea what admin was. I still thought admin was a part of infantry for some odd reason. I was just, just hitting it as the unknown and just taking it and running with it because, again, I didn't know what the Marine Corps was. I just thought it was Navy, Air Force, and Army. The Marine Corps was a surprise to me. And when I, did join the Marine Corps, my family was like, "Oh, you idiot! What the hell are you doing? You're gonna die."
You're gonna die.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I got from all my family members. But coming to find
they
out,
didn't support it?
not at all. Not at all.
Now they do.
Now they do, 100%. Every one of my family member, to include my, childhood friends, they appreciate what I do now as a Marine, and they're so proud of me, and they wish they could have gone with me.
All right, Master Guns. So you finished boot camp. Where did you end up getting stationed at? How was those first 4 years for you?
So after boot camp, obviously we all went to MCT,
Yep.
completed MCT. After MCT, the instructor told me I was going to Camp Johnson or Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. That was where my MOS school was, along with all the other MOS school, i.e. supply, 04, motor T, mechanic, etc. I told my, instructor, like, what the hell is in North Carolina? I thought I was going to go from boot camp, combat training to war. And that was what I had in my mind. I had no idea there was a follow-on school. So when I got to MOS school, I actually got in trouble at MOS school. Yeah.
You want to share that?
So, yes, I would love to share that. I actually broke curfew. We got stopped at the gate there coming on a base, and there was a curfew at the time. And obviously, PMO turned us into our instructors, our faculty advisor. Faculty advisor actually gave me a page 11, maybe a 6105. And told me that, hey, I wasn't going to go far in my career because I didn't, follow rules and regulation of the schoolhouse. But, I made it out of there, and I went from Camp Johnson to my first duty station, which is Chesapeake, Virginia. And Chesapeake, Virginia was Marine Corps Security Force Training Company. And that's where we train all of the basic security guard to go and pretty much provide a QRF, quick react force, for the embassy. In any case the embassy gets attacked, the FAST guys, which is the Fleet Anti-Terrorism Security Team, they would actually go out and provide security for the embassy and assist those embassy or MSG Marines with getting all the diplomats out of the
Kind
embassy.
of like NEO.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. A non-combatant evacuation from the embassy. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. So Master Guns, like during those 4 years was it 4 years in Virginia?
Yes, I did actually more than 4 years, almost 5 to 6 years.
You extended out there? Or
Yes,
just-
I had no choice
Okay.
due to my recent adversities.
Okay. We'll get to those. What are some of the challenges that you had that caused you to stay in Virginia? Like, what is the kind of like the adversities you had in the fleet?
So I think the challenges with me is that I live by this thing, that I am a product of my environment type mentality. Yes. I could not let go of where I came from. Growing up in California, it's pretty rough. And I just could not separate the military from where I grew up. So that was one of the biggest challenge I had, was just not letting go of my past.
So would you say it's like cultural?
Cultural, environment, and just my mentality.
So like, just to make sure I understand this correctly. So you couldn't let go of your past, which really, as you joined the Marine Corps, like that was the reason that you were kind of like not adapting?
Yes, that is correct. I could not adapt to the Marine Corps. Even after, boot camp and hitting my first duty station, I just couldn't let go of that that young self of mine. You know, it's like, oh, I got to get mine.
Yeah.
You know, I got to be a tough guy. I got to, you know, I got to be a meat eater. I just got to be the whole nine, right? Like I'm not a pushover type deal
Did that kind of attitude got you in trouble? Got you in NJP
for
or
the
something?
most part. For the most
Let's
part.
talk about that. What happened?
So my first NJP is very interesting. We were all out in town in Norfolk, and we were in Virginia Beach. We were at a house party, you know, a college house party in college town in Virginia Beach. One of my buddies were out in the backyard. He got into a verbal altercation with some civilians, and the civilians, you know, obviously were talking back. There was a lot of barking back and forth, and all of a sudden I heard was, "He's got a knife." And that's when me and two other Marines pretty much just started swinging away. I always told everyone, hey, these hands are ready to eat,
Yeah.
right? For everybody.
Everybody.
And my biggest problem was not honing my emotions. So as the first sergeant, our company first sergeant always said, is like, if one Marine gets into a fight, guess what? You all get into a fight. And I just live by that. And sure enough, we got into this huge fight to the point where we put a pretty bad beating on one of the civilians. And to this day, you know, I still feel bad, but at the same time, I was there to protect, you know, my friends and the rest of the Marines. So that's what got me in trouble the first time, to the point where we had, you know, court dates, we had fines, we had to pay medical bills, you know, the individual's medical bills. So the individual turned around and sued us pretty much.
I see, Mr. Guns. That's, you know, it's very, we all be through this like kind of situations where like we see one of us getting in trouble, and then, you know, we're trying to help. But what rank was, like, during that time, what rank you were?
So I was a meritorious corporal, actually. And I thought, you know,
Meritorious.
I was meritoriously promoted. And I thought I was the golden child of the battalion at the time. You know, like I was untouchable, unstoppable.
I know that feeling.
All it took was just one wrong move, one bad judgment. You know, I thought good initiative, but bad judgment. And yeah, I got my rank taken away.
Rank taken away.
Rank.
So they maxed you out?
Maxed me out. I did 45 days restriction, 45 days EPD, reduction in rank from E4 to E3, forfeiture of pay. I believe it was for 1 month pay.
1 month?
And they didn't suspend anything at all.
And that was your first enlistment?
That was my first enlistment.
Okay. And so this is your first NJP?
My first NJP.
What's the second?
So fast forward 1 year later, same month, same day. My NJP happened 1 year later with the same month, same day.
Same month, same day?
Same month, same day. Just
you don't go
different
out
year.
in that day anymore, right? Or you still?
I don't even think about it anymore.
Okay.
But you know, it's wild that it happened.
Yeah.
My NJP
Same
actually
month,
took
same
place,
day.
same place, same month, same day. The second NJP, again, my doing. You know, don't want to blame anyone but myself. I actually signed off on a travel voucher that I shouldn't have never signed off on, and what I thought was doing the right thing was obviously not the right thing. Got another Marine paid for travel, and the Marine actually just said it was my idea, and I just took it and ran with it. You know, I just took it on the chin and just thought nothing of it. But come to find out, the commander just believed that I made some money from that voucher, which I absolutely did not make any money from it. I just thought taking care of the travel voucher in advance would just pay the Marine off. That way I don't have to see him later on down the road to complete a supplemental travel claim, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
So
that was
the
my
Marine
second
basically
NJP.
submitted a travel voucher that were not entitled. They were not entitled to have.
They were entitled to it, but there was a part where he did not relocate his family, if that made sense.
Yeah.
The money was actually for him and his family, but because his family didn't relocate,
So it was, yeah.
you know, it was considered fraud. And the Marine pretty much, in my opinion, just gave me up and just said it was all on me, and I just took it. Didn't want to take it anywhere higher, i.e. court martial, etc. I just took that second NJP. The good thing about that NJP is I did not get reduced. I was still a Lance Corporal. I kept my rank. However, I did spend 30 days on restriction, 30 days EPD, kept my rank, and they suspended my pay.
Okay.
So
Was it the same? It's the same CO.
same command, different CO.
So this is all of this first 4 years.
First 4 years.
How did you re-enlist?
So I re-enlist with what they call a FFO at the time. I don't know if that's still a thing that the career planner used, but it is for further observation. I want to say that's what FFO stand for. So it was a 2-year re-enlistment instead of the 4-year, which I actually lost out on a $10,000 bonus at the time. So instead of re-enlisting for 4 years with the bonus, my chain of command recommended that I only re-enlist for 2 years, pretty much a probation period to see if I can survive the 2 years without any negative paperwork.
Okay, let me ask you this question. If you're a Marine nowadays and you get 2 NJPs in your first contract, you most likely will get out.
More than likely.
More than likely, like 99.9 chance, like you're probably out. How did you overcome this NJP? How did you convince the command that you should be re-enlisting as for further observation? Like, what did you have to do?
So I think what helped me was my sergeant major. It was Sergeant Major Sim at the time. I think he retired out of the regiment, and he told me to just, do it, re-enlist for the 2 years, and just give the Marine Corps a second chance, because the Marine Corps is giving you a second chance. So it's a two-way relationship. So the Sergeant Major really, really
He helped you find
encouraged
the mindset?
me. He did. He told me to just forget about all the stupid, nonsense, the white noise. You need to cut yourself away from everyone else and just focus on you. Sometimes you have to be selfish, but it's not selfish in a sense. But take care of yourself. And it took him to actually tell me to do it and give it a shot.
So, I've been NJP before. I know that feeling. But I want to hear it from your perspective as a Lance Corporal that has 2 adversities, is definitely being looked at. There's a specific look, right? And you understand what I'm talking about. How did you deal with that look of like you're not performing, or like you're probably a dirtbag, or like what was your mindset at?
So there were a lot of negative people, dark clouds, right, above me, and I just pretty much.
Did you have self-doubt?
I did 100%. I doubted myself 100%. Even after that re-enlistment, it's like, why did I even do it? But at the end of the day, I took it and ran with it, and I just kept to myself at that point. I stopped, going out. I stopped hanging out with a certain crowd. I just pretty much gravitate towards more my sergeant major and wanted to be his right-hand man. So whatever he asked me to do, I went above and beyond in my mind, right?
Yeah.
So he would ask me, hey, go freaking brasso the sink, go brasso those ammo casing, go brasso the bell, go brasso this, go do that. I would do it with just joy and happiness, even though it sucked, right? In my mind, I told myself to just do it, get it over with, and then today is going to be another day. So yeah, that was pretty much it.
That's good, Master Guns. I've been kind of like through problems and adversities, and I know like it's hard to find that in yourself, and you kind of need some mentoring and guidance so you can find that light and the tunnel to get to that point. Moving on from that time, how did your career go? Like, how did you end up here today?
So after my second NJP and after my re-enlistment, I actually was voluntold to go deployed to Fast Company Pacific in Yokosuka, Japan. And I was out there with First Fast, and I gotta give a shout out to my old platoon sergeant, Gunny Llanos, who is now retired Master Gunnery Sergeant Llanos, 0399, infantry platoon sergeant, one of the best infantry staff NCO I've ever worked with. And thank to him is the reason why I'm still here today. So deploying with them for 7 months really, really changed my mindset
You got
on the
promoted?
Marine Corps. I did. I got promoted to sergeant meritoriously.
Meritoriously.
Meritoriously. I kept going on boards before the actual deployment, and I actually did not win the board. I actually lost to two very decorated infantry corporal.
So that was during that time. That was like your time to lock in. Did that what you kind of did?
Pretty much, I locked in. Even though I lost on that board, right, to the two very decorated infantry Marines, I came in third place because those two Marines actually got selected with, just regular time in grade, time in service. The sergeant major actually gave me their allocation. So he asked them if they actually wanted it. And they said, you know what, we'll just give it to Yommalat. And that's how I actually got meritoriously promoted to sergeant. And I think it was all luck. And because the love I got from Sergeant Major Sim, that's why I'm so grateful for him and the command at the time, because it was just a whole new command deck. And, after I got promoted, that's when I actually deployed. And that's when I locked in, I changed for the good of the Marine Corps and for myself especially. And I didn't look back after that. I know I had to work harder than the guy and gal to my left and the right. And I knew I had to do things that people didn't want to do. So I had to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I don't know if you've heard that saying
definitely.
before. So I locked in through and through.
That's awesome, Master Guns. Was it during that time that you wanted to kind of do something, and because your adversity, because you understand, like it's a thing where, like, if you have adversity, there's specific duties or specific things that you cannot do. Did you ever had to face anything like that?
I did. So when I actually was coming up on my second re-enlistment, this time for 4 years, right after the 2 years probation period, now, because I didn't receive any, negative paperwork, I'm actually doing pretty well now. At this point, I was actually getting ready to submit for a lat move into 03. And Gunny Llanos at the time, my platoon sergeant, told me, you know what, Yommalat, I don't think this is right for you, because coming in as a sergeant into an infantry unit, they are going to challenge you and they're going to jack you up. They know you're not a part of their culture. So you, from the outside coming in, they are going to give you one of the biggest challenge. And I don't recommend you lat moving into the infantry. And I told him, I can do it. I can do it. Gunny, I can do it. He was like, no, I think you're better suited as an administrator. I think you should stay in your MOS. I wanted to give back, right? Because I'd done so much bad things in my career. I actually wanted to go infantry and deploy and pretty much get some, just like everyone else, right? But my Gunny Llanos, told me, you know what? It's not about the glory. He gave an example about himself. He's like, look at me, Yommalat. I'm a gunnery sergeant, a Purple Heart recipient. I'm jacked up. Do you want to be like me? Like, you don't want to be like me. I've been there. I've done it. There's no glory in killing, blowing stuff up, doing all the hood rad stuff, right? He just told me this, just stay in the MOS and you'll do well, is what he told me. And sure enough, I took his advice. I re-enlisted on Mount Suribachi. So Iwo Jima, hurrah. So Captain Nelson, thanks to him too, he was my re-enlisting officer. So I still remember those people that actually were there for me through my career. After my re-enlistment on Suribachi, I went back to the office in Yokosuka there, and sure enough, the career planner hits me up. He was like, hey, we have an incentive for you. Jump school, dive school, or admin specialist school. I told him, hell no, I want to go to jump school. And sure enough, he hooked me up with the jump school. And that's how I ended up receiving my airborne insignia.
This is so cool. I don't think I've ever seen another administrative specialist with jump wings. Like, I mean, in my career, I'm not a master guns, I'm not a staff sergeant, but it's very rare to find that. I thought you actually like had to like go in a specific unit, but that's an incentive.
It is. It was a re-enlistment incentive at the time. I think it's still a thing, but we have to talk to a career planner about
Okay.
that. I believe it's unit funded too. So
That makes me ask you a question. In your time as an admin, or in your time in general, like specifically, I want to focus on the commodity thing. Would there's like doubters?
oh, 100%. I believe there's still doubters today, but
I mean, what are they doubting right now? You're 39, but it's like, how did you overcome this? How did you deal with doubters?
just remain true to myself. Always put a smile on my face. I think because it's my family and my culture, right? The Thai people are always smiling. The Laotian people were always smiling, loving people, welcoming people. So for those doubters that had doubt in me, my performance, my personality, right? I could come across as, arrogant, cocky, self-centered, but that's
I think
not
you come
me.
off as a very positive person.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I do now. Maybe I did then too, but there are some people that, could look at me sideways, but to those doubters, I I have nothing but, you know, thanks to tell them because they made me who I am today.
I can tell every single person about how much you kind of make us in building one, or like whatever, whenever we get to like see you passing by or something, you kind of leave a very positive impression as you're walking by us. You always come around, you would smile, and then you always leave that good positive energy, you know? And this is one of the things that I personally really kind of like admire about you, is like how much you, like, no matter what I'm coming for, or like whenever, no matter what kind of question I'm having, it's never like that kind of attitude of like, why are you here? What do you want? Is like, I'm this high rank, or like I'm this person. You're like helping Marines. I want to ask you, this kind of leadership style is, it's very rare. Is that something you adapted like recently, or this has been who you are?
I think this has been who I am for the longest, ever since I was a junior Marine. Because I'm in an O1 capacity where my job is to provide customer service, whether it's, late hours, for anything, right? It could be for anything. My job is to provide the best customer service to the best of my ability. And that's what I want to give people, no matter what it is. You can come to me and ask me about anything. I may not know the answer, but I promise you, I will find the answer. And we're going to find it together, because at the same time, it's a learning lesson for me and the individual that's approaching me for assistance. So that is why I just love helping people. And I've learned at a young age. And, it's like giving back, right? Because
Yes,
if I
it
help
is.
you now, you could then turn around and help the next person, because, hey, I went through it with Yommalat. He actually showed me how to do this, and here's how you can
Each
get
one teach
after it.
one. You ever heard that?
Each one teach one. I
Yes.
have. Each one teach one. I have. And I just love helping people. Smiling is what get me through the day, and just to put a smile on another Marine's face makes me smile even more.
Respect, respect. All right, Master Guns. Let me move on to another question. What kind of leadership decisions that was hard to make for you? Like a hard decision that you made as a leader?
So the hardest decision I've ever made was actually on recruiting duty.
Oh, so you did recruiting.
I did recruiting duty.
Go through it.
All right. So
Tell us the stories.
everyone thinks it's a volunteer, but it's not a volunteer. It's more of a voluntold. So when I got selected for recruiting duty, I went through the motion, and it was one of the toughest, if not, by far, the toughest duty in my 22 years. And it was a grind. For those that have been on recruiting duty knows, right? And I feel like I've hit every wicket of recruiting. I was a canvassing recruiter. I helped out as a A/, and after I got selected on recruiting duty my first year, I actually went up to the RS to assist the RS headquarters along with the officer selection team, help them out at Sac State, at any colleges that they need me. And then from there, I finished my last year out at the MEPS, the Military Entrance Processing Station. So the hardest decision making, leadership decision making I had to make was when I had to change one of my applicants' contract from active duty to reservist. And to this day, it's still burned inside me. I did not want to do it. I felt like I was forced to do it because there was an incentive for the recruiting substation. And to this day, I still remember my applicant's name. I still remember that Marine's name. She made it through, right? But I was not happy with my decision making on changing her com code, her component code.
Can I ask why?
Well, because I was forced to by ops,
Okay.
right? Because they are the mission maker, right? We're just out there to just provide the product.
The
to
applicant
ops.
didn't know?
The applicant knew, but we had to sell the applicant on why the individual should go reservist
Instead of active duty.
instead of active duty. So to this day, it still burns inside me that I had to do that. But I've accepted it.
Let me before you accepted it, did you say that you still think about this to this day?
I still do.
Do you think this has changed this applicant's life like in a negative way or a positive way?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. You know, I haven't talked to this Marine in so long, you know. Maybe it's for the good, maybe it's for the bad. I really don't know. Because at the time, it was all about mission. Just making mission. And whatever the command needed, you know, that was what I was going for.
So why do you feel so bad about it?
Because I wish she would have gone active duty. I just wish she would have gone active duty because that is what the Marine asked for initially.
Okay. Yeah.
And we had to change it because, you know, we were
Make
told
the
to.
mission, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to say it's ops that made me. I don't want to say it's the RS, the command. It's just one of those things where, hey, we need a reservist female grad. Sure enough, I had an active female grad, and, you know, sorry to this individual. I apologize. But that was one of the hardest thing I had to do to this day. I don't know why.
Do you feel like you took away from that Marine's potential?
In a sense.
Okay.
In a sense. I feel like the individual Marine would have done better active duty.
I see that, Master Guns. With that, like, what is the pressure of being a leader? What's the pressure that you're going through? Like, what kind of, is it just command pressure or is it like your own internal?
At this point in my career as a Master Gunnery Sergeant, I think the only pressure I have is just internal to myself. Because life is easy. Life is easy. All you have to do as a leader is take care of your Marines. The moment you stop taking care of Marines is the moment you need to hang it up as a leader. That is my honest opinion on being a leader, is to take care of Marine. Once you stop caring for your Marines, you got to get out.
Is it hard to balance that with family?
It is, especially on recruiting duty, if we have to go back to that.
Yeah.
So
How did you do it?
I pretty much just did what I thought was best for me and my family by just sticking through the mission for the Marine Corps. Is just work as hard as you can so that at the end of the day, you're still providing for your family, a roof over their heads, food on the table. So mission first, but family always.
Do you have times throughout your career, like, of course you do, but like, what are those times that you've been gone and you kind of wish that you feel like you missed out something very important with family? And how did you deal with it?
So right now, you know, the biggest thing I missed out on was not being there for my children and my wife when they needed me most. I don't know if I told you, but
No, you didn't tell me.
my wife and I are, you know, separated now. And she blames recruiting duty.
That happened during recruiting duty?
That happened recently.
Okay.
So on recruiting duty, she held it in. She played the father, the mother, She wore all the pants in the house while I was out there getting after it. Although I thought I was there physically, I wasn't there mentally for my family. So that really tore us apart. So if I can go back and change anything, it would, to give
How long ago was recruiting duty?
recruiting duty. This was from 2017 to 2020, right before COVID. I left right before COVID happened. And how many years has it been? 6 years now since I've been off the streets.
So she basically took it in and she kept it for 6 years. You never felt anything?
I never felt anything. She told me, she communicated to me. I thought I was listening, but I didn't pay attention wholeheartedly. And that is probably one of my another biggest regret was not being there physically, emotionally, mentally, for my wife and my kids. Although, we're living separately now, I think it's for the best.
What would you tell a Marine that is going through the same thing now?
So I would, what I would tell those Marines is to be there for their loved one and be there emotionally, physically, mentally, because you're never going to get those time back. And if you're not there, they're all going to just pick up and go. And you might just end up by yourself. Luckily for me, my wife is still there. Although we're not together, she's still there for our children. So that is the most important part.
I see that, Master Guns. And what would you say to just the Marines in general, like the Marines that have been kind of like through the same career path, or like they've had some kind of setbacks? How did you overcome those things to get to the point that you're at today, which is an E9? How do you kind of like stay in that locked in mentality? How do you get to your goal? Did you want it? Obviously, like you wanted to become an E9, but how do you stay locked in like that?
I just pretty much just focus on my job. I prioritize my job more than I prioritize anything else. So those long hours I put in at the office, it was for the Marines, for my unit. And what I would tell the Marines is to continue to focus on your job, but at the same time find a balance for work and family. And if you can find a balance for work and family.
Do you know this saying that says like one has to give for family or the Corps?
No, I don't.
You ever heard of like something like you as a leader, like you ever heard like the Marine Corps didn't issue you family?
Yes.
What's your thoughts on that?
I think that's,
some people like, hey, tough it up, but
yeah, it is. But I have a very, very soft spot for Marines and family, right? Because you should put your family first. Because the Marine Corps is always going to be there. I think putting your family first and then finding a balance with the Marine Corps and the mission, I think everyone will do fine afterwards, because putting family first, I think, is important to me now. I didn't know that at the time, but I know it now.
Who are those mentors that kind of helped you see that?
There's so many. I can name off a lot, but I'm not going to throw any names out there. Those Marines, have always told me, hey, work is always going to be there, but your family won't. So you got to find a balance and, focus on your family. If that's who you want to keep close to you. Now, if you just don't care about your family and you just want to put work first, then so be it. Some people, they love work more than they love their family.
I've had leaders that literally said that, like, hey, Marine Corps wanted you to have a family, they would have issued you one.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. Those type of leader, I think, are slowly dying out, I guess. That was the old breed. Hopefully, with me being a Master Guns now, I don't continue that mindset, right? Like, if you want a family, start a family. But make sure you take care of your family and take care of yourself, take care of your command. And if you can balance all of those things, you will be a successful Marine and a family man.
That's true, Master Guns. Last thing, I want you to kind of like give an advice to the junior Marines and the leaders that are watching this episode. Just share your advice with them on how to get there.
So one advice I would like to share with the Marines is to continue to get after it. You know, stay motivated, stay dedicated, stay true, stay loyal, right? Mission first, Marine always. And what I mean about that is the mission, you got to make sure you meet the mission, right? Meet the commander's intent, meet the commander's philosophy, etc. But always take care of your Marines. And that's what I mean about Marines first. So take care of your Marines. If the Marines get the help they need, then the Marines will make sure the mission gets done.
Right, Master Guns. And before we just close, what does carry on means to you?
Carry on to me, it means to finish what it is you're doing and carry on with the rest of your day.
All right. Well, that concludes our episode today. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you subscribe and like and comment. And thank you.